Hey everyone, welcome back to the Cheap channel, the channel dedicated to all things cheap in the world of fragrances. And today's video is going to be another quick run through of a line of fragrances that you could find at most rack stores, mainly TJ Maxx and Marshalls is where I've seen these. They are another line of fragrances from the company of Camara Perfumes. And recently I did a review of their Contra line, which was really nice, good bang for buck, and these are no exception. I've so far been very impressed with the Camara Perfumes company. And in general, all their stuff smell really good quality, have very interesting finds. It's definitely not what you expect, especially from looking at their bottles. Now, the line I'm gonna look at this time is their Eldorado line. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, maybe you'll know it by the look of the bottle. You've definitely seen these all over TJ Maxx and Marshalls and maybe some others. It just pops up everywhere. They all are in this style of bottle, but they just have a different colorization, a different style, and a different name, and obviously a different fragrance they're cloning. Let's go ahead and get into the first one, which is this one. It is called Eldorado Avenue, and if you can't guess just by looking at the look of the bottle or even the name, this is a clone of Creed's Aventus. And I know Creed's Aventus has been played out with all the different clones and all the different takes and all the different inspirations, but this one adds a little something different, and I actually don't think it's cloning Creed Aventus. This comes across immediately with a lot of pineapple, blackcurrant. It's actually very fruity, immediately woody with that birch wood, and it's very smoky, a little bit of a leather undertone and a little musky. But because of all that fruitiness and the immediate smokiness and that leather undertone, I don't think that this is so close to Creed's Aventus as it is to Mancera's Cedrat Boisé or Intense Cedrat Boisé. Now, I will say I've had a chance to sample Intense Cedrat Boisé recently, and this is way closer to that than the original and especially Aventus. This is almost dead on with that style. And just to note that these are marked about $14.99, $15.99 at most rack stores. So you're looking at $15, $16 for this as well as all the other ones. For that style of quality and accuracy, it is just unprecedented. Plus, you get a nice addition of a pressurized atomizer, which is super enjoyable and always a nice luxury when you're looking at these cheap fragrances. And with that added woodiness and smokiness, I think this adds a little more depth, a little more complexity, and a little bit more maturity, if you want to put it that way. It's not going to be for the faint of heart. If you don't like smokiness, then you might not like it. But if you do like that style, the same way that Cedrat Boisé in the Intense version is, you will absolutely love this. And it's a nice breakaway for it being closer to that style rather than the actual Aventus style. I think it breaks it and shakes it up just a bit. The performance isn't the absolute best, probably a little under average, about 5 hours in longevity. And depending on how much you spray, it's a good hour and a half of projection, but it does dry down to a very nice, smooth skin scent, keeps that woody smokiness, just like Cedrat Boisé, and that fruitiness does last a good bit into it as well. So not a complete loss, it still maintains a good quality through it, but I mean, for $16, it's hard to complain about this. So I highly recommend this one if you want a good breakaway from the Aventus style, closer to that Mancera Cedrat Boisé style. I definitely recommend this one here. It is Eldorado Avenue. The next one is one that is way opposite-ended from what we just smelled, where the first one was more of a versatile all-year-round fragrance. This one is way more particular to, I would say, the colder seasons, and you'll see why. It is way more niche-ended in what it's meant to clone and the style that it is. Not going to be as easy appealing, but I personally really like it. It is this one here, Eldorado Black Iris. So like the first one, if you don't already know what this is cloning from just the look of the bottle and especially the name Black Iris, you'll definitely know it by how it smells. This is a clone of Amouage's Interlude Black Iris. So I guess I decided just to take the flanker name Black Iris and just label it on here. No other creativity needed, just to give you the first thing that you'll know immediately what it is. So when I first smelled this one, I did not like it at all. I thought it was interesting. It weirdly enough attracted me to it, and I was like, I don't know if I like it or not. And I was going through, collected the first one, collected the last one that I'll talk about, and I was like, I'm just gonna have to go ahead and get it so I can complete the collection. And the more I had it, I actually wore it, and Oddly enough, I really like it. It is super unique. So if you don't know anything about the Amouage Interlude Man or Interlude Black Iris style, it is meant to be a very smoky, incense, woody style fragrance, except this one that says Black Iris is trying to add in that powdery, almost waxy orris or iris style. It is not as noticeable in this as it probably is in the original one. This comes off way more on that incense, olibanum, myrrh, smoky quality. I've had a lot of people smell this, and even me included, say that it smells like a house fire. It legit smells like if you just, a house burned down and you walk into it and just smell the air. It is super smoky. You do get a good bit of that woody backbone and very slightly on that iris, a tad bit of sweetness, more of an after smell rather than in front of your nose. So you'll smell it, you'll smell the smokiness at first, and then after you're done smelling it, the lingering smell in your nose goes a little bit powdery sweet, but it doesn't stay there for long. It's mainly just a smoky incense woody quality. Very unique, not something everyone's gonna be attracted to, but if you like something that is neat, unique, more of that niche style, then you will enjoy this one. Way more geared toward the colder season. Like I said before, you're not gonna wanna wear this out in the high heat of summer. It is gonna just be going everywhere off your skin. You're gonna smell like you just came out from volunteer firefighting, more than likely. It is the best performing out of the ones I'm talking about. You spray it on a test strip like I had to do before, and it just filled up the whole room before I even had a chance to smell the other ones. A very, very loud performer, especially for that first hour, but yet not so good as far as longevity. It is probably about the same as the first one, 5 hours, maybe 6, depending on how your skin type is and if you spray it on clothes or not, but still super, super loud as far as projection. It's going to definitely get you noticed within that first hour, hour and a half, and people are going to probably be wondering if there's a fire somewhere or if you just left a campsite after rolling around in the ashes. It has that same quality to it, but like all these here, punches way outside its weight with the price tag you can find it at. Does not smell like a $16 fragrance. It smells way higher than that. Obviously not as high quality as an Amouage fragrance, but for $16, this is probably the best you're gonna get. Definitely try it out. Don't blind buy this. If you do see it boxed, try to find a way, if you find it in a rack store, to spray it and smell it, because it's not gonna be something that everyone will appeal to, but I like it because of its unique factor. It is one that I will go and spray and show others just because of how different it is, but definitely a good quality, good conversation piece, and I would highly recommend for anyone to try it. It is Eldorado Black Iris. Now moving on to the last one, and it is my favorite in this line by far. I've worn it so much. It hits that niche that I love in fragrances and that style that I enjoy just so perfectly. And it makes me honestly want to try to shell out for the one is cloning. If I like this so much, I know I'll like that one, but I think this will hold me over a good bit until I'm able to get that, if I ever do. And it is this one here, Eldorado Kingdom. So after I got this one, I actually did a YouTube short covering it, saying how I thought that this was actually a clone of Creed's Royal Oud, even though at the time I never smelled it, and I actually haven't smelled that until recently when I got a sample. But after some time had passed, I got a comment from Dustin at the Fragrance Fan channel, which if you haven't checked him out, check him out. And Dustin, if you're watching this, shout out to you, man, because he actually corrected me, saying that this was a clone of by Killian's Straight to Heaven. And after I did some digging around and some looking, found out that this is note for note the exact same as Straight to Heaven. But I've never had the chance to smell Straight to Heaven, but after smelling this, I really want to, because this is absolutely amazing. It comes off with those dried fruits, a lot of sweetness in it, and it has an alcoholic, boozy rum note that is super noticeable. But what is even more noticeable to my nose is that cedar and patchouli, those woody notes, a good bit of spiciness in there, a little bit of smokiness. It has so much depth and complexity for a $16 fragrance, it just doesn't make sense. I am so addicted to how this smells. Even though the ingredients in this are probably very cheap, it just has a very nice cedar wood smell, like very photorealistic, like fresh cut, fresh sawed cedar that's burning, and you're in your holiday season with the spices and you're drinking some good coffee and you're outside and the cool weather hits you. is a whole vibe. This is very classy too, but I think you can easily wear this casually on date nights and holiday gatherings, at parties. Super enjoyable. Obviously better for the colder seasons. I'd say more particularly for the holiday season, for fall, winter, date nights, night wear. It is not a super loud projector, but it sits very close to skin and has a tad bit better longevity than the other ones here. I'd say maybe 6 hours or so. After smelling this again on the tester strip, I just love it, y'all. It is so addictive. Like, you're smelling the inside of the barrel that aged rum was just in. It is just so good. And like I said, if this is good, I can only imagine how even better the actual fragrance is by Kilian. And maybe at some point I'll get a chance to sample that. I probably will never be able to buy a full bottle, but I'll definitely sample it because it just makes me so happy. It hits that funny bone of mine that just makes me laugh and tickled about how fragrances smell. I absolutely love it. Cannot recommend this enough. It is just alluring, it is sexy, it is all things encompassing class and sex appeal. In a cheapie, you can't do any better than this as far as rack store finds that you'd find on that shelf. You do not expect it to be like this. And I'd highly recommend for anybody, if you want close to a niche quality for $16 for a unknown rack store find, definitely pick up this one. Camara Perfumes just blew it out of the park. It is this one here. Can't recommend it enough. Eldorado Kingdom. And here they are, guys, the Eldorado line by Camara Perfumes. There's only 3 of them as far as I've been able to tell. So you got Eldorado Avenue, the Aventus, but really the Citron Boisé, Intense Citron Boisé clone. Eldorado Black Iris, obviously an Amouage Interlude Black Iris clone. And Eldorado Kingdom, a by Kilian Straight to Heaven clone, which is, like I said, my favorite in this line. Absolutely amazing quality. Best bang for buck you could find. Camara Perfumes, if I find any more of their stuff, I'm just gonna keep on grabbing because they've been knocking it out of the park with all of their releases. And this line is no exception, just takes a different side than what you normally find. I absolutely love it. I highly recommend anybody to pick these out and try them. The Black Iris one's probably gonna be the most divisive, but Avenue and Kingdom are going to be the ones that most people will be enjoying and more easily appealed to. Highly recommend. Again, 16 bucks, you cannot beat that price. If any of you have these or tried these, let me know in the comments what you think about them, what your take is on them. Are there other clones of the fragrances that these are cloning that you prefer instead? And all of those things, let me know down in the comments what you think. Do you like these kind of reviews, even though it's a very small line of these obscure brands? Let me know what you think about them. If you do like this video and you enjoyed it, please consider giving me a thumbs up, commenting, let me know. And if you are watching this but you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing, showing some support. There's a lot of things that I have planned coming down the road, and I'd love to have you along with me and hopefully to help you discover something new as well. And as usual, guys, that's all I have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, thank you for being here with me. I will see you all again in the next one. Be blessed.